What up, y'all? This your boy Gerald. It is Sunday, October 18th, 2015. How is everybody doing? You are on the backside of your weekend. Some of you are starting your day. Some of you are ending your day. But it's still your day. So how's everybody doing? You navigated through your week. I hope that you were able to sidestep the negativity that was ever so present, trying to consume the way you think, the way you act, and distract you from you. So how you doing? Doing all right? You enjoying your weekend? Hopefully, I know some of y'all this is a great weekend for sports, but some of us have to do what is required. Some of us got to work. Some of us got to go and pay the bills. See, these are all the reflections of your day to day because these are the things that are correlated that make you you. So, you're getting ready to slide into a new week. Yes, you are. Fall is starting to creep its way in, and now you have to put away some of those spring summer clothes. Now, I know I'm talking to somebody. You've been holding on to having to put that stuff up. Some of y'all been dreading having to do it because you got so many clothes. But that's okay. These are nothing but aspects of your personality, the things that define you on your day-to-day when you walk out that door. So how you doing? You doing all right? Okay. All right. So I decided, I noticed a certain trend on my channel, and normally I just do this, I smile, and I pray on it because I always want to find the best way of communicating my point of view, my opinion, and how I see the world through my eyes. Now I'm the first one to say this. There are going to be some things that you're not going to understand. There are going to be some things that are going to cause you to shake your head. There are going to be some things that you just don't get or you just don't want to agree with. And I totally understand that. I do. I truly do. The one thing that I have never set out to do was have a position that was force feeding it down your throat, strong arming the way you think by an approach or a context that I was expressing. Now, keep in mind, we have our own opinions because we have our own lives, but I also know that we all share or should share a commonality that we all see. That commonality. But I also know that there are those that proverbially only want to see you in a certain view. And anytime that you step outside that, they feel threatened. Yeah, they do. They feel threatened because of how your disposition is. They assume that the placement that you're coming from is doing this. You feel me? It's like you proverbially you're attacking them. Now, mind you, I am very humble, and I'm very blessed that you spend 1 second, just 1 second, to hear what Gerald got to say. That is humbling to me because it takes 100% effort to be you. Did you hear me? It takes 100% effort to live your life. So for you to take any bit of time to direct it towards something outside of your day to day, that is something that should not be squandered. That should be something that is treasured. But a lot of times, you're going to run into people that are not going to see you or understand or get where you're coming from. And they're going to automatically assume that your position is of a judging nature. Let me explain something to each and every one of you. And I say this out of love, y'all. Since the beginning of my walk, October 18th, 2011, I made it a point that if there was anything found inside my spirit that was holding me back, I was going to break off those rough edges. I was going to make sure that I had the clarity for my life because I deserved to be happy. But we're not a dictatorship now, are we? We have to interact with people in your day to day. May it be on the job, may it be in your house, may it be next door, may it be across the country. You still have to interact with other people. So it behooves you to be able to convey whatever your thought or opinions that are being put out there. May it be your cell phone, may it be on YouTube, may it be however you socially interact, that they're understood. But see, we live in a society, y'all, that it's not that way. That would be too easy. Because if it was so, then we would always have a position of truth, now wouldn't we? We would always speak from our heart. We would always make sure that whatever that was representing us was always seen in the correct light, good or bad. But a lot of times that does not happen. It easily becomes misconstrued. And it's like, for example, it's like me taking a remote, you watching a TV show, and you are fast forwarding through the TV show. And at the end of it, the interpretation that you got off of what you did watch and based off of what was being interpreted were totally different. I'll do one better. There's no different than this play out all the time. I could take somebody and say, hey, read this passage right here. And I read the same passage and I ask them, well, what did you get out of it? Their interpretation is going to be different from mine, but there should be a commonality shared between us. But a lot of times that's not the case. Now, isn't it? That's why taking a position of assumption is easier. Doesn't make it right, but it also defines value and worth of the audience too. And shouldn't that matter most? We see a lot of times people don't want to do that because they like to stay in their comfort zone. They want to take what they know, their knowledge, as gospel, as fact. Unless you take the time to fact check it, how can you say it's correct? And even if you fact check it, you still got to look at the source. So, I'm throwing this out there for you because I've seen a trend. Oh yeah, Cheryl listens. For those who've had the pleasure of allowing me to interact with you on a more direct level, no. And for those who don't, it's not meant. Maybe not right now, but I also know in the intended time and heart, there's going to be something that's going to resonate. There's going to be something that's going to spark that beautiful mind of yours to look a little deeper. We all know that you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't. But isn't our society built off of that? Built off of perceptions? Built off of assumptions? And when you come to find out, when you do the research, it's not even on what you thought it was. But guess what? That's still an opportunity to make a decision. You go a little deeper, or you peel that onion back a little and get to the core, get to the root of what's going on, and find that knowledge that you need, or accept it for what it is. When it comes to your life, you shouldn't be taking shorts, y'all. You should. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. So, I'm putting this out so I can put some clarity out there for those who may have questions and say, well, you know what? I should ask him this, but just hadn't gotten around it. I'm going to throw this out there, and I hope this will give you some understanding. Okay? Number one, not one time did I say that I was some theologic scholar. I did not. Not one time did I say, oh, I'm pastor such and such, and I'm from such and such and such. No. But what I did say was, I am a man. I am on my journey. And I have a lot of works to do. I also have a lot of experience and seen a lot of things. That's where it goes to. You can't judge a book by its cover. Just like you can't judge somebody by what's found in their pocket. That's one thing I've learned in these last 25, about 25 years. Mm-hmm. Because you're looking at a man that's squandered easily over $400,000 off of bad decisions, bad investments, and not so good people. And the reason for that is I didn't have my boundaries in perspective. And the logic and the knowledge that I had at those moments did not serve me. Why? Because I allowed assumptions and perceptions for me to impulsively make decisions not in my best interest. So guess what? You go through a whole lot of pain. One of the biggest pains and challenges you're going to go through is seeing somebody for who they really are. Like Maya Angelou said, when a person shows you who they are, trust it. In so many matters, I think she said it. But that's who they are. It is. And you don't have to accept it. But what you do need to do is judge accordingly. Switch turns the corner. For some reason, it seems that there have been people that feel that my disposition is of a judging nature. Let me clarify something for you. There is not a judging bone in my body. Do I have a strong discernment? I sure do. Do I want the best for your life? You're damn right I do. Because you deserve it. But I also know and respect the power of free will, which is one of the two gifts that God gave you. The first one was to unconditionally love yourself. The second one was free will. These are two valuable gifts that can't be replaced because this is what defines you. This is what makes you you. So now, how does that have a relation to your day to day? has a whole lot, but are you willing to look at it? I know some of y'all are terrified to deal with your fears because you know that it will put you in a placement of vulnerability, a placement to be real with yourself. See, you can fool those people outside the door. You can fool the people in your environment. But one thing that you can't do is fool that person that's looking back at you every morning, every day, either in the mirror of your bathroom or in your rearview mirror as you go where you go. That's you, a beautiful you. But the question that should be asked is this: do you know you? Do you? Because if you really knew who you were, would you make the choices that you're making now? How about those pains and those woes that you've had to deal with in your evolution, your maturity? If you really knew you, would you have made those decisions then? If you knew the knowledge of what you have now compared to then? Take a second, think about it. If you knew the things that you knew now, before some of those decisions that you had made then, would you have made them? How about the price that was paid because of those decisions? Oh, yeah, I know I'm talking to somebody because I ain't even brought up that because I don't know. But you know, I struck a chord in your heart. What I'm trying to get you to do is do this. Why won't you be still? Why won't you invest in your life? See, you got to understand something. Before you can have an affirmation, you must be able to manifest it. And before you manifest it, you got to be able to have a placement inside yourself so you can speak it into existence. But guess what? You have to do the work now, don't you? See, if you turn around basing your life off of what Johnny's doing, you're not going to yield the results of what Johnny does. You're going to only see the aspects of the result. But little do you know, you don't know what Johnny's doing behind the scenes. You don't know what Johnny's doing in his day-to-day. All you do is see the harvest. Some seed ain't good seed. And sometimes you could have the best seed in the world and try to plant it in bad soil, and you're not going to get nothing but weeds. But we learn now, don't we? That's what your life is about, y'all. It's nothing but learning. But I'm a firm believer of this. I also know our opportunists don't need your help to expose themselves. I know I'm talking to somebody because I've had to go through it, and I'm going to continue to go through it, and that's okay. Because I'm going to believe this. I know that sooner or later there is going to be something that's going to fall from my mouth that comes from by way of the Holy Spirit to reach your soul, your core person, that's going to spark movement inside and make you ponder like, you know what? I wasn't thinking, I don't know why I listened to him, but he makes sense. All I'm doing is validating what already exists in you. So, if 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 for some reason you feel that I have the energy to put a video out, mind you, I don't set out to put videos just to do it. I don't put videos out to make money. I ain't collected a dime off of this. But I know that in the end of the times, and when my legacy has been displayed for the Most High, my Lord Jesus Christ, He's going to see my heart. And He's going to say, you did well. Because that's why I do it. That's why I do it. For my young kings and for my kings that are in the 35 plus. I'm speaking this to you, brother, because as long as you got air in your lungs, you got an opportunity to change your steps. Did you hear what I'm saying? As long as I've got air in my lungs, you've got an opportunity to change your steps. So, If that's a position of judgment, that's who I am. Because I'm going to always be a truth sayer. I'm going to speak what you need, not what you want to hear. Because, see, I'm sending love, divine love, to each and every one of you. I ain't got to tell you. Look at your friends. If your friends really were your friends, why aren't they making sure that you are uplifted? Or better yet, why aren't they doing it themselves? Birds of a feather flock together. But I also know humbly, misery loves company. Because if they're not growing, guess what? You think they want you to grow? No, they don't want you to grow. Because if you start growing, you're going to see more worth in yourself, and they're going to know that they're going to lose the connection they have, and they can't afford that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Oh, when things go down, they're never there when you need them. But when they want you, they know. You're a phone call away. Now's the time that you speak your truth. Now's the time you see your worth. And now's the time that you take the road less traveled. So why won't you? Now, let me speak on this. I also understand this. Because we have free will, you have the right to do whatever you want. You can see me today and you can unsubscribe tomorrow. I can't stop that. That's free will. But I'll thank you for the moments that you did stick around, and I hope that whatever that was conveyed resonates. And I hope that your life continues to grow. Now, mind you, I'm just like you. I don't write down nothing. I don't. Everything comes from spirit. Comes hits me and it comes out like a water speaking. And after the message is conveyed, it stops. Sometimes usually I have to go back to listen to what was conveyed. hmm That's how God does. But see, I also know this. As I said, that opportunist. You got. It's no secret. You got a lot of people that use social media as a stream of income, and more power to you if that's what you want to do. However, I believe from my position, if I can't share something that's going to help you grow, what's the point on you giving me your time? That's the way I'm doing a disservice to you. See what I'm saying? I won't do that. I've got too much integrity for myself I won't waste my time. I'm not going to do that. I got too much stuff to do, and I got so much stuff to still learn. Because see, I know when it's all said and done, y'all, you are looking at Dr. Gerald Davis, clinical psychologist, life coach, author, screen. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff that I'm working on. And when the seeds are done and harvested, I'll reap the reward. And I'm not saying that to say, like, look at me. No, 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 no. My walk gonna stay humble. Because I, like so many, have been through my spiritual storm. And for those who have been through a spiritual storm, you know that it's the next best thing to death. It is. Because what is going on is you are being made new. The rough edges are being resonating to the top to be examined and broken from. That's God's way of asking you through validation. Did you learn the lesson? Did you learn it? And when you come through it, like a caterpillar turns into the butterfly, it is made new. However, on contingent, if you do not, I repeat, do not take the lessons of what is being showed, because mind you, as the proverbial saying goes, what is done in the dark comes to the light, you will see all the questions that you may have pondered in your mind. I know I'm talking to somebody. You've seen a lot of things you questioned about. A lot of times you said, am I crazy? Am I losing my... No, that was just the devil trying to distract you from the truth. But because you stayed faithful to what was found inside you, because you stayed on point, you stayed on path, and you placed God first, he showed you what you needed to see in the intended time. And yeah, was it painful? Yeah. Was it hard to embrace? Yeah. But guess what? You know why he showed you? Because he knew that emotionally you were able to bear the brunt of the truth. And when it comes to your life, don't you deserve nothing but the truth? I ain't got to tell you. You got a lot of people walking around you right now that will lie because that's all they know how to do. They're habitual liars. And habitual liars are nothing but people that refuse to look at life for what it is and take accountability for it. So they're really functioning in a delusional state. That's why anytime that you talk about something that's real, what do? They turn you off. They distance themselves from you. And really, what's going on is nothing but the Holy Spirit. That's nothing but your angels intervening in your behalf. Because I'm going to keep telling you, y'all, angels exist. Demons exist. And yes, the devil is real. I ain't got to tell you that, Queens. How many wounds you got to lick? How many times do you got to pick your heart up and put your face back where it needs to be because you keep taking it upon yourself to try to define your life the incorrect way? Why do you think I keep telling you, stop looking for your man? The reason I tell you that is because it's going to validate your self-worth. And the man that you long for in your spirit and in your heart is going to exceed what you think or interpret in your mind. Some of y'all met your husband, didn't even know it. But in the intended time, it will all be validated. Because you got to understand something. The worst thing that could ever happen to a human being is to watch their blessing be given to someone else. You don't want to be like the legendary singer, rest in peace, Vesta Williams, singing congratulations to the one that you genuinely love, and they getting married to somebody else, and you're like, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Nah, that ain't your story. But that might be your girlfriend's story because she's in your ear. She's in her ear. She's in your ear because she's just as broken as you. Why? Because she don't want to grow. She want to settle. So you think the devil don't have the tools? The devil will give you everything you want, but not what you need. So it's time to take accountability for your life. It's time to admit to yourself and have the fortitude to look at the things that are broken. See, the more that you look at those things, the less the sting exists. You're not going to have the solution on the first time you look at it. Nah, because if that was the case, you would have championed through it when it occurred. But see, society teaches us to compartmentalize our emotional state. Yes, I understand. Sometimes you can't address things when you need to because you have other things that must take precedence. But guess what? What should never happen is that you take a back seat to your state of mind. You should never do that, y'all. But so many have. So, I'm going to keep saying this until God says, you've done enough. I'm going to reach out to the intended heart, intended mind. I keep telling y'all, Worst thing you're going to get from me is the truth and a prayer. I do it for this as well. See, I know for those who are in their 40s and below, you didn't have the tools to navigate your life. You had to figure it out on your own. You may have had your parents, and you may have been in a single parent household, and you had to raise yourself. I get it. But guess what? Your education to you continues until the last breath. But see, I know society back then, especially for us men, did everything in its power to convince man, do not embrace your emotional state. You are supposed to be the provider, the protector, the sovereign over your dominion. Well, if you do not understand you from the most internal sense, how can you make sound decisions for yourself? Hmm? You see what I'm saying? The fix was already in. Now, I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, that's how my parents raised you. But you got to also understand the mindset of your parents or your parent. They're only going off of what they were taught. And some of them still are learning about them. You think because they had you, everything that they need to know to understand their lives was already there? No, it was not. And some of y'all had to deal with that. Some of y'all had to deal with that because that was one of your deepest pains. Some of y'all had to deal with the fact that one or both parents were not in your life. You were raised by your grandparents. And there is an underlying wound there. There's resentment there. There's anger there because you don't know why. And you want why. You want to understand. But guess what? Let me explain this. And I'm speaking this for what it is because I can relate to that on all levels. Matter of fact, I've told y'all before, I have a 16-year-old daughter, very intelligent. Haven't interacted with her in 10 years. You say, why, Gerald? Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because even though she was conceived out of love from me, there was no love there. So God divided me from that. Now, my position has always been from the first moment she took her breath to the last one. Daddy loves you. If you see this, that ain't changed. And in the intended time, we will have our relationship. We'll have it. I believe that. I believe that's what God's going to give me. But in the interim, Gerald got to still live. Gerald got to still be the best Gerald. And Gerald got to continue to trust God. And I'm going to do this. And before somebody starts to say, well, you are Debbie. No, 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 no. From the first moment she took her first breath to right now, Gerald always kept benefits going, kept the support going. But that physical presence, no, it's not there. You can't be somewhere where you're not wanted. And yes, I've tried for almost 7 years. While we were apart, letters always went out. Sent cell phones out there, did whatever I could to keep that communication line open. Right now, she don't want it. I can't force that. All I can do is pray for it. So, baby girl, if you're seeing this video, when you take the anger out of your steps, you'll come to see the one true man that will always love you is your father. And guess what? All you're doing, your mindset comes from me. So you're a chip off the old block. Love you. So, for my kings, I keep telling you, my queens, I keep stressing, if you're not in your children's lives, make it a point to try. Leave the door open. Leave it open. But while you leaving that door open, work on you. Get you right. Prepare. Because we're going to go back to that free will again. You can't make nobody do what they want to do. But what cannot be dispelled is truth. And that's what divides people, because some people don't want to accept the truth for what it is. But you reap what you sow. Trust and believe that. So my steps are going to be happy, are going to always be humble, because I know my harvest is going to come. I say that out of love. I know that needs to go out to somebody. So, my channel might not be for you. Might not. But I thank you for stopping by. I hope that whatever was conveyed from spirit makes a difference in your life. Only you know that. But I know this. You can't make your dreams a reality if you don't do the work. Did you hear what I'm saying? And don't worry, the people that genuinely love you going to be doing the same thing, and they're going to be there for you. And the people that don't, pray for them, wish them well, and keep it stepping. Because there are some people that don't deserve to hear you breathe. Don't waste your time on people that don't want to grow. They're your distractions. This goes for family too. You have some people that want to see you this way, and they frustrate. Why? Because they don't want to look at the truth for what it is. The truth is, it's a representation of what's found inside you. You don't like your view? Change you. You got to do the work, or suffer in silence. The choice is yours. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Oh, let me throw this out here too. My kings, my queens, let me put this exclamation point on this thought. If you are a parent and you are not in your child's life, and you're doing the providing, that's a double-edged sword if you're doing it out of convenience for you. You understand that? If it's a choice that you're not in their life, you got to deal with the reality of that choice. But remember that. Remember this. The world is raising your child. Don't be surprised what you see when they come back. Take accountability of that, right? And take care of yours. They came from you. Why won't you protect them? Stay blessed, y'all. One.